Good morning. It's been such a long time since I've been on Facebook Live. I'm having to check myself in terms of, am I live? Is it working? But I'm so delighted, as always, to be here on this beautiful Saturday morning where the sun is shining, the rain has made everything green and lush, and it's just a morning where I just feel it's really good to be alive. So let me know if you are here, if you can hear me. Um, it's always a bit nerve-wracking when we start our Facebook lives in terms of, is somebody there? Oh, Mon, you are here. All good. Thank you. I feel like I'm rambling and I'm just switching my phone to silent because it's making a noise. Sorry. Just a second. Okay, I'm back. So welcome everybody. Hi Flick, hi Mon, hi Janet, and so good to see you. I'm so excited to be talking today about magic, inspiration, and the molecule of more, and how that all works into our happiness and our contentment and our kind of peace and our ease. So I've been reading this book called The Molecule of More by Daniel Lieberman and Michael, I think, Mole. It's funny, like when you're live, you kind of forget these names. But this book is quite amazing in terms of how it really explores the role of dopamine in our lives and how we have evolved, as well as how what's happening currently worldwide in terms of everything getting faster, in terms of everything becoming more virtual, how that's all playing into our dopamine. And that dopamine really is the molecule that releases from one part of our brain, but it starts to infiltrate other parts of the brain where it has different effects. So in some ways, just to put it very simply, dopamine is our molecule of motivation, excitement. It's of seeking the thrill. It's wanting to forever improve. It's like what motivates us to go for goals. And I'm a bit croaky this morning. And to achieve more and more. And it's like nothing is ever enough. And then when it gets enhanced by euphoria. So if we are getting motivated to do something and the result is a euphoric state, as it is when we drink a lot of alcohol repeatedly, then those circuits actually become a bit disentangled, which means that dopamine wants to, when it works as the motivator, it works as I'm hungry, I need something to eat, I go and get something to eat, and then I'm satiated. So they call it almost like a reward error. That's the break. So when we do something like we have a glass of wine and we get euphoric with it, there is no reward error. We're not satiated. We want it again and again. And that's when it becomes an addictive pattern in our lives. And how do we then learn to put the brake on? And that becomes more and more difficult. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Flick. Yeah, so what is also very interesting is how dopamine, being this molecule of more, um, makes us often feel like we are never ever have enough, that we are never happy, and which results in things like over shopping. We shop for a new dress or we get a new haircut and we think, oh, that's going to make me happy. But it doesn't. Or we go for a goal and we keep having to go for more and more goals. It's like dopamine habituates in a very strange way that the more we have it, the less it gives us. The more we get it from one source, the less it starts to be, the source starts getting less and less effective. And so we start looking for more and more thrills. So what can we do about that? I mean, and how can we really manage our biology? And what was quite interesting for me is that together with this book, I came across a neuroscientist, a woman called Zai Quach, and she wrote a book called Calm Clarity, where she talks about how important it is to kind of understand our brains from the point of there are three brains. Now, dopamine kind of interacts with all three of these brains. But the first one is the fight or flight brain. So that's often when we get triggered. When we are in a addictive cycle, often it's like we have no blood flow to the brain. It's like we just keep the pattern happening for more, for more, for more, for more. And then our second brain kind of ticks in, which is the pleasure one, the reward one, where dopamine also has a role. And that's where we want to achieve, where we think, okay, I need to get happy, I need to feel better. What can I do? We chase, some people get into really working a lot, um, or setting where their whole work becomes their life, their achievement becomes their sense of well-being. People like Isaac Newton and some really brilliant brains, Albert Einstein, all had real issues around that because they've got a lot of their dopamine going in terms of the creativity and the way they were thinking and the way they were and what they were achieving in terms of humankind. And they were motivated a lot by making a difference to humankind. But on a one-to-one level, they were not very effective. They had difficulty relating to humans. So you often hear brilliant people saying that whatever they do and whatever motivates them to find a cure, to do whatever or to find the next thing that will ease life for humankind is different to how they actually, whether they like people or not. So a lot of them say, oh, actually, I don't like people. I hate people. And I find that always like such an oxymoron. But that's when dopamine receptors are really, and the dopamine neural cycle is really involved in more, the next thrill. So for us, we need to engage what Zwei speaks about as our inner sage, our brain or our observer brain, our brain where we can pause. And that's why when we go on our journey, when we go on our journey with alcohol or any kind of addiction, and we are in that loop and we are in that cycle, and we think about how do we break it? How do we actually get out of it? And we always talk about the fact that you need to pause. We also talk about that you need to find reward errors, kind of. So, for example, when you're going to a party, you prove to yourself that you can enjoy yourself without wine. Um, that's when the dopamine kicks in with anticipation of going to an event and then hoping to have, and then the memory is, aha, but the last time you went to that event, you had some wine and that really made you feel good. So what you need is some more wine. But now we're saying, no, we need to have a reward error there and to not give it the reward of alcohol and instead give it another reward, another anticipation. So if we understand that dopamine is our motivation, it's our excitement molecule, it's what gets us out of bed in the morning, it's what gives us the thrill of achieving, then how can we utilize that in our current journey? And that is to really engage with our inner sage and with our thoughts. So more and more we are discovering, and neuroscience is discovering, how important it is how we think, how our thoughts have a direct effect on our biology. So we can hack our dopamine and create excitement, and by using our imagination and creating thoughts that will inspire us. For example, what I have found, and I find it in myself, when I motivate myself through thoughts of excitement and delight and achievement, then I'm much more, it's much more probable that I'm going to actually succeed in whatever goal I've set myself. So if you've set yourself the goal for a dry January or taking a break in January. This is beautiful. It's so beautiful for the dopamine because you're pressing the reset button. You're excited about the what you can do for a child. So that's why our campaign and our fundraiser at the moment is a beautiful collaboration of dopamine and oxytocin, and we're helping the community at the same time we are helping ourselves. So I'm actually very passionate about our fundraiser because not only is it about the dopamine, but it's what it's doing for these children who do not have the same kind of access that we have to play, to good nutrition, to life skills. And what this fundraiser does is it gives a child an opportunity. And more, I'm realizing that part of the way we hack our dopamine is through play. It's through getting into our bodies. It's through breathing. So when we take a child that's been traumatized, that's had a terrible start to life, and we give them something like a yoga, where there's breath work, where there's an integration of the mind and the body and the soul, the inner sage. It's beautiful. So if you haven't as yet given to this fundraiser, I really urge you to. It's something that lies close to my heart. It's something that lies very close to Janet's heart. And even if you are already doing a dry January or you haven't started yet, it's not too late. Start. Look at your relationship with alcohol. Look at your relationship with dopamine. And at the same time, you can gift a child the opportunity to do yoga, to get good nutrition, and get some really good life skills. So I'm talking here about the importance of breathing, play, thoughts, where we become in charge of our brains. We are what Wim Hof actually refers to as you ride the horse. You are the rider, and you just steer that horse, and you steer your body. And more they're talking about things like the vagus nerve, which is almost like a cable that runs from the brain all the way down to our toes. And the vagus nerve has like fibers that come off it that like scan the body. And the vagus nerves communicates from the diaphragm up and from the diaphragm down. And the way we access the vagus nerve is in different ways, is when we start to learn how we can control our biology. So a lot of times in the past, we believed that we couldn't, that the vagus nerve was not something that we could access until people like Wim Hof came and proved scientists wrong. And where neuroscientists started to say, wow, just from the point that through breath work, he is able to regulate his heartbeat to the degree that he can go into ice water and sit in an ice bath for hours on end, and the ice actually starts to warm. And he does it by an inner locus control of breath work. So when we use our breathing, our thoughts, our play, meditation, getting quiet, creating, then we are engaging dopamine in a very positive way. And we're regulating it. We're putting the brake on, or we're giving it an acceleration if that's what's needed. We start to feel, okay, if I'm feeling like really low, it means my motivation is low. How can I get my motivation up? How can I get my energy up? I know how to do that. I can engage my own biology. It's so empowering. Then we realize we are truly the steerer of our horse. So if you are here today and you're feeling slightly blue, you're feeling a little bit colorless, you started off the year very excited, you pressed the reset button, the dopamine was going, the molecule of expectation, the thrill, this is going to be fantastic. And now you're maybe a week and just over a week into your dry January, and you're starting to feel, well, I'm not really feeling better, or it's starting to wane, or I'm feeling a little bit off, I'm not feeling that great, or I'm kind of bored. It's in your control to change it. Listen to your biology and find ways for you to engage and get quiet, bring magic into your life. So, how do we bring this magic into our life? Magic comes when, I mean, Robin Sharma calls it when we attract miracles, or when we get an inspired thought. And he says it often happens at 5 a.m. in the morning when you're out and you're sitting and the sun is rising and you're meditating and you're just getting into your senses. You hear the birds, you smell, you really focus on, first of all, your senses, then your breathing. Um, then the magic happens. Then something happens, an inspiration, an inspired thought, an intention for the day. So try these beautiful practices that people are talking about, that you can read about. You can change it. And I often find that if we just are at the mercy of our biology, of our dopamine, then we'll become very reactive. We'll look for easy ways to find that thrill and that high, and it's not sustainable. You want that slow burn. You want to find ways where you can set an intention in the day that's going to keep you at ease. In neuroscience, we talk about it as the Goldilocks moment. How do you find the Goldilocks moment? So the Goldilocks moment is, Goldilocks is motivated to explore. She's excited about thrill, what's out in the forest. And then she sees a cabin and she's like, what's in the cabin? And she goes in and she sees there's 3 chairs and there's a table and there's porridge. And she first of all goes to the chairs to go and sit on them. And then the one is too high, the one is too low, and the other one is just right. And she's like, this is the right chair. Then she tastes the porridge until this one's too lumpy, this one is too hot, this one is just right. And the same when she finds goes to the bed. So that's what we call the Goldilocks moment. And how do you find your Goldilocks moment? When your dopamine is really working for you, it's motivating you, and at the same time it's not controlling you to a degree where you just are on a treadmill of more, 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 more. You are able to do that by engaging in practices such as meditation, painting. One of the creating, um, they did a study of the happiest workers, and quite interestingly, what they found is that construction workers were overall the happiest people because they were creating, they were outdoors, they had camaraderie with each other. And so, what happens in that case is that dopamine engages with the here and now. So, what I'm saying is, you need to have dopamine and you need to engage with the here and now. So, you need to be motivated to get up, to do, and also to enjoy it and be in the present moment. Slow down, pause, find the magic, find the inspiration, and create that kind of life for yourself. So before I end, I'm going to end with a poem that is my poem for 2021. And I'm also going to ask you all if you've got a word that is your word for 2021. Um, so mine is agility. A friend of mine has the word flow. Another friend of mine has the word love. A client has the word joy. So what is your word and your intention for 2021? And mine is also, I want to find more magic and inspiration. Okay. Hi, Chantal. Oh, it's so good to be alive. When we find our aliveness, we find it in the moments where we can enjoy what dopamine has brought to us, when we have achieved, when we have created, when we can just be listening to a bird or with our cat and stroke our cat and just be in the love. Hi, Denise, and thank you for getting me in touch with the book, The Molecule of More. I mean, the book is quite amazing. It actually says that it goes as far as to say if we keep on the treadmill of more and more and more and more and more and more convenience, we will eventually become extinct. So if you want to really find out more about dopamine and how it interacts and how it's actually setting the stage of what our world has become, then do yourself a favor and read the book. Hi Verlaine. Hi Jess. Oh, it's Roberta. So good to see you. And Natasha, Margie, Lexi, yay, Marcel. These are all little dopamine hits that I'm getting here now. Just looking at your names. Wilma, yes. Hi, Shiz. Oh gosh, so good to see you. Yeah, so true, Denise. The anticipation of a hangover-free wake-up is one pretty effective way of engaging dopamine positively. Absolutely. As is paying it forward, playing the movie forward. Dopamine is all about anticipation. So it's all about the future. It's very future focused. So when we create through our thoughts and through our imagination, that future um, in our minds, that's the motivator to do it. Yeah, oh, the fundraiser is such a win-win. Hi to me, good morning. Good, yeah, I'm getting so many dopamine hits. Oh, I'm feeling fabulous. Yeah, trust. Wow, hi, thank you everybody. And yes, really, the one experience we all want to have is just peace and ease, that Goldilocks moment. So what, for the Goldilocks moment, another clue is to see your brain and your body as a budget. So if you run your brain is running this budget, and if there are too many withdrawals, you'll go into overdraft, you'll go into burnout. So too much dopamine, too much go, 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 too much more, 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 you go into overdraft, you burn out. If you're putting in the deposits, you might then need more deposits such as play, dance, meditation, painting. Those are all deposits. So find what it is for you that you can make the deposits into your budget so it's just perfect. You're just on a beautiful, even keel. Yeah, resilience, fortitude. Wow, it's so beautiful. I'm like blown away. So in closing, I'm going to read you all my poem, and it's my poem for 2021, and it's called Walk Slowly by Dana Folds. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still, and just like that, something in me settles, softens, makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper, and I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we will all cross the finish line, that waking up to life is what we were born for. Waking up for life, waking up to life is what we are born for. I love that. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe and be and walk slowly into the mystery, into the magic, into the inspiration. Thank you. Thank you, my beautiful friends, my beautiful people that are here today. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you got something. Share with me what was for you a nugget, and have a beautiful, beautiful day further. See you at the Zoom Cafe. Love you all. Bye.